DC Multiverse!
How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Brad, the DC Universe Geek, and today I'll be reviewing the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse The Drowned action figure. Here's what the front of the box looks like. On the one side of the package, we have Batman, Earth -11, Dark Knight's Metal. And on the other side of the package, we got a little bit of the window and some more logos. On the back, we have that fantastic The Drowned artwork, the same thing that will be the trading card and other figures in the DC Multiverse action figure series. Okay, and now that we have the Drowned out of the package, let's just take a few moments to go into some of her origins and facts about her for those of you at home who may not know. Bryce Wayne is the Batwoman of Earth -11, a completely gender-reversed world, and at some point took it upon herself to kill every single one of what she dubbed rogue metas. Shortly after that, the Atlanteans popped out of the ocean and were like, "Oi mates, hello, we come in peace." To which Batwoman was like hell you do. I got my eye on you and I don't trust anybody. And of course after that there was a war between the surface dwellers and the Atlanteans, during which Aquawoman got completely ran through the gut, killed by her own trident at the hands of Batwoman. In retaliation for this, the Atlanteans, in their infinite wisdom, decided it would be a good idea to completely drown Gotham. Because of this, Bryce decided it would be a good idea if she adapted herself using hybrid DNA to give herself the abilities of hydrokinesis, accelerated healing, superhuman durability, stamina, and speed, not to mention the ability to breathe underwater. Oh yeah, and she also engineered an entire army to fight by her side called the Deadwater. Anyhow, if you want to know the rest of the story, you'll have to find a copy of Batman The Drowned, issue number 1. It's a one-shot, it's a good read, and I highly recommend it. Okay, and now that we've gone through all that, let's look at the figure and the trading card together, shall we? The trading card that she comes with is actually just the cover of Batman The Drowned, that one-shot I was talking about. And here's the bio on the back. You can pause to read that if you'd like to. Other than that, you just get the figure and the trident, which the trident, might I add, is actually a really cool-looking accessory. It's fairly accurate to the source material, although not to the cover of The Drowned issue number 1. That's a completely different one. Now, as far as how well the trident fits in her hand, well, her hand is actually a little bit too big to hold the trident properly. So, you know, you might have to heat her up and bend her fingers so that she'll hold the trident without that happening. Shaky, shaky. The figure itself, very, very cool. I like the body proportions of the Drowned, as well as the color palette and the texture palette. Is that a thing? A texture palette? Here's the Drowned's face sculpt, and as usual, what we've come to expect from McFarlane Toys is high quality when it comes to not just the sculpt of the figure in general, but specifically the face sculpts. I think that this is absolutely fantastic looking. Look at that tangled mess of seaweed color hair there. That looks really, really awesome. So in general, man, Todd has done another fantastic bang-up job on this figure. That texture palette I was talking about, you can really see here with her long high boots there being textured like that. Then you have a nice flat, kind of a matte dark pine green. And then you've got a lighter green here that has more of a seaweedy sort of texture to it. And then you've got the leather of her bustier here. I mean, I would assume it's leather, some kind of fabric of some sort. Everything is fantastically textured. The tooling on this figure is amazing. I am so impressed. I really, really, really like this rendition of The Drowned. And actually, it's the only rendition of The Drowned, isn't it? And just as a slight side note, I think it's kind of cool that the way they chose to incorporate her bat emblem is actually on a very pirate-looking necklace. I think overall, she kind of looks like some kind of weird undead zombie pirate, like she should be hanging out with Captain Jack Sparrow. And then the next question we're going to have, of course, about this character is how well articulated is or isn't she? For starters, you can see that great big collar right there, and the hair on the back. So we know that she's not going to have super great articulation as far as the head goes. Pretty much what you see is what you get. Notably though, she does have articulation in the body underneath that rubber suit. One thing you will find is that you'll try to pose her and the rubber will actually push the articulation back to a straight up point. So just know that you're not getting a figure with a huge range of motion, at least from the head down to the waist. Everything else is going to be par for the course. She's got the rounded hinge there with the butterfly, as well as bicep swivels double jointed crunchy elbows, and they articulate nicely. And then of course you can see she's got these ugly rounded ball hinges right there in the wrists. With the Drown, they actually don't bother me that much. They don't really stick out like a sore thumb to me. I mean, now I'm looking at them and that's all I can see, but if you're just gonna look at the figure like this, you wouldn't even notice them. Now she also has a swivelly waist. You can hear it clicking into place. She's also got the McFarlane groin down there that does exactly what it always does. Forward, but the seaweed gets in the way. Backwards, but the seaweed gets in the way. So as far as what she can do here, the articulation points are there, but the suit does get in the way to an extent. I feel like she could have definitely benefited from a thigh cut because you don't really get much of that. However, at least she does have double jointed crunchy knees, the rounded hinge pivoty ankles that do everything you want them to do pretty much, and toe articulation. Now I will go ahead and warn you that because these ankles actually click into place, you can't find a kind of happy medium point. And also based on how small her feet are, I mean, those little tiny high heels aren't helping anything. It can be slightly challenging to get her to stand up. Oh, well that just looks like a very uncomfortable way to stand. So at this point in the video, it's usually customary for me to give my opinion on the figure as to whether or not I feel like she's worth you heading out into the general public and trying to hunt her down in the wild, or possibly paying the extra shipping money to order her online from, say, Big Bad Toy Store or Amazon or wherever you can find her. Is this figure a yay or a nay? Is it good or is it garbage? Well, at this point I can wholeheartedly tell you that if you want to buy this figure because you want to stand her on the shelf with the rest of your McFarlane Toys Dark Knight's metal characters, as you can see here, she's going to fit right in, she's going to look fantastic, and she scales wonderfully. If you're buying her for action figure photography, just remember that I pointed out that her ankles clicking into place the way they do and her feet being so small, and also just balancing her in general can be a little bit tricky. Be aware that you may have just a little bit of an annoyingly difficult time getting her into really good pre-posed positions. However, that is also why God invented action figure stands, so I say absolutely wholeheartedly go for it, because either a scalper's gonna get her or another collector's gonna get her, but she's not gonna remain in the store for long. She's a hot item, and you can see why, because she's fantastic. But that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Hopefully you found this video to be an interesting, insightful, useful waste of time for the day, and if you did, you know where all the buttons are that do all the things, and I will see you in the next one. Have yourself a super awesome, fantastic DC day, everybody, and take care. Until next time, bye for now.